Let's do a quick mental check right now. I want you to think back over this past week. Was there a specific conversation you completely dodged? Maybe a text message you typed out, stared at for way too long, and then just deleted it instead of hitting send? Or maybe there was someone you really didn't want to see, so you made up a completely valid excuse to avoid them. You probably told yourself, I just don't have the time right now, or it's just not the right moment. But if we're fiercely honest with ourselves here, you had the time. What you really lacked was the courage to face that discomfort.
Welcome to this explainer. Okay, let's dive right into this. Today we're unpacking an incredibly powerful psychological pattern that is silently, and I mean quietly, eating away at your potential. And the craziest part about all of this, you probably don't even realize it's happening. We're talking about the avoidance trap.
Now, I want to start by gently challenging a favorite excuse a lot of us use. How often do you hear people proudly say, "Oh, I'm just an introvert," or "I'm protecting my peace and energy," or "I'm just a private person"? While those traits are absolutely real and perfectly valid, here is the shocking truth. People who proudly wear these labels like badges of honor are often secretly trapped in the most dangerous type of avoidance. They've basically made avoidance their entire identity, which means they never actually recognize there's a problem in the first place.
So what exactly are we dealing with? Avoidant behavior is basically a psychological pattern where you consciously or even subconsciously flee from things that feel uncomfortable. And notice I use the word flee, but we aren't talking about physically running away. It's mental and emotional running. You stay exactly where you are, but you completely check out. Take Rahul, for example. Great guy, 24-year-old professional, and his boss asks him to give this really important presentation. Rahul's skills are totally solid, his data is absolutely ready to go, but as the day gets closer, he panics. He tells himself he just needs to polish the slides. Then miraculously, on the morning of the presentation, he develops a stomachache, a classic grade school move, right? And postpones it. Was Rahul lazy? No. Was he incompetent? Absolutely not. He was avoidant.
To really understand why Rahul did that, we have to look at our biology. Your brain is not your enemy here. It's honestly just a little confused. Imagine being back in school. The teacher asks a question, you totally know the answer, but your hand stays down and your stomach just drops. Why? Because your brain perceives a threat. Specifically, the threat of being judged or laughed at. Think about it. Thousands of years ago, if our ancestors saw a tiger in the wild, the brain instantly triggered the fight, flight, or freeze response to keep them alive. Freezing was primal survival. But today, your brain reacts to your boss or a PowerPoint presentation the exact same way it reacted to that tiger. What used to save us from being eaten is now modern sabotage, literally destroying our careers.
Section 1. The 3 hidden types of avoidance. Now, what's really interesting here is that avoidance isn't just one blanket behavior. It actually wears 3 distinct masks. The first one is situational. This is the obvious stuff, skipping a party because it feels a bit awkward, or canceling a doctor's appointment because you're terrified of the results. Then we have cognitive. This is completely internal. A painful memory or a super deep life question pops into your head, and what do? You instantly pull out your phone to distract yourself with endless scrolling. But the third type, emotional avoidance. Wow. This is the silent poison. This happens when you suppress your true feelings just to appear strong. You don't tell someone you love them because you fear rejection. You swallow your anger to avoid a conflict. Society often claps for this, right? They mistake it for maturity. But actually, scratch that. It's really just a slow-acting poison.
Section 2. The roots of the pattern.
So where does this all come from? I mean, nobody's born avoidant. You don't just wake up one day like this. Chronologically, it usually starts with childhood conditioning. Maybe when you failed at something as a kid, you were met with harsh judgment, or worse, silence. You learn very quickly that failure equals rejection. So to stay safe, you just stopped trying. Makes sense, right? Next up is past rejection or trauma. You took a leap, you took a risk, got deeply hurt, and your subconscious brain immediately slammed a massive wall down and said, nope, never again. And finally, we have today's instant gratification culture. We have literally packaged avoidance as entertainment. The very second you feel a ping of anxiety, you open an app, swipe a screen, and poof, the discomfort vanishes instantly. It perfectly rewires your brain against handling any form of discomfort.
Section 3. The honest checklist.
Okay, I want to be a compassionate mirror for you right now. I want you to evaluate yourself with brutal honesty, but absolutely zero judgment. Ready? First, do you always have a valid excuse? The avoidant mind is an absolute genius at justifying its own paralysis. Oh, the weather's bad, or I just need to do a little more research first. Second, do you feel overwhelming anxiety from unread messages? Does just replying feel way too heavy, so you ignore it and let the guilt build up? Third, are you indefinitely postponing a difficult conversation, just waiting for that perfect time that, let's be real, never actually comes? Fourth, Do you wear being busy as an identity badge just to shield yourself from facing reality? And lastly, are you physically present at dinners or meetings, but mentally you're thousands of miles away?
Section 4. The true cost.
So the crucial point is this. Running away feels incredibly good in the short term. The relief is palpable. But here is perhaps the most counterintuitive truth in all of psychology. Avoidance is the compound interest of anxiety. You might think dodging that phone call or postponing that dreaded task lowers your stress. And sure, for a split second it really does. But every single time you avoid something, you're sending a powerful signal to your brain that says, hey, this trigger is highly dangerous. So the next time you face it, your brain spikes your anxiety even higher to protect you. It just grows and grows exponentially over time.
Ultimately, you protect your present comfort, but you steal your own future. Let me share the story of Priya. She's a 27-year-old designer, and on social media, her life looked absolutely flawless. Perfect. But inside, she was completely empty. She never gave her boss honest feedback. She never initiated deep, meaningful conversations in her relationships. She really thought she was just being mature and discreet, but she avoided vulnerability for so long that she completely lost her own identity. When someone finally asked her what she really wanted out of life, she had absolutely no answer. That right there is the slow death of self-respect.
And this brings us to a massive, massive revelation. People constantly confuse avoidance with rest. You tell yourself, oh, I'm just tired, or I really need some self-care right now. But notice the stark contrast here. Real rest is energizing. It's peaceful. It comes from setting clear, healthy boundaries. But if you step away from a task and feel a temporary hit of relief that is heavily mixed with this quiet, lingering guilt sitting in the pit of your stomach, yeah, that is not rest. That is avoidance. I really challenge you to test your own self-care routines against this.
Section 5. The 5-step framework to break free.
Because awareness alone just isn't enough, right? In fact, overthinking about it can literally be another form of avoidance. It's time for a tested roadmap to break you out of the paralysis. Step 1, name it. When you feel that urge to run, just say out loud, I am avoiding this right now. No shame, just simple recognition. Step 2, feel the discomfort. Whatever you do, don't reach for your phone. Step 3, start embarrassingly small. Seriously, don't try to change your whole life in a day. Just send that one text message or work on the task for just 5 minutes. Step 4, reframe what safe actually means. And finally, Step 5, build an honest support system. Avoidance completely thrives in isolation, so you need to find someone who will lovingly but firmly call you out when you try to hide.
Now, I really want to highlight a fascinating biological fact regarding Step 2 that will completely change how you view your emotions. 90 seconds. Research shows that when you allow yourself to fully feel a difficult emotion without trying to escape it, it takes on average just 90 seconds to peak and start passing. Your brain tries to convince you that the discomfort is unbearable, that it's going to last forever. It's a lie. It is totally temporary. You can easily survive 90 seconds.
Let's move to step 4 and see how this builds. We have to create a completely new mental model. Right now, your brain thinks avoidance equals safety. We have to rewire that by asking 2 very specific questions. If I keep avoiding this, where am I in 5 years? Versus, if I face this right now, where am I in 5 years? Write it down. Visualize it clearly. You have to prove to your brain that the real danger lies in inaction, not in having that awkward conversation today. As we wrap up this explainer, I want to leave you with one final provocative question. No filters right now, just pure honesty. What is the one thing you're avoiding right now? That specific conversation, that tough decision, that scary leap of faith. You know exactly what it is. It literally just flashed in your mind. Listen, the heaviest, most painful word in the world is kash, meaning if only. The tragedy in life isn't failing. The real tragedy is looking back years from now and whispering, if only I had tried. But you aren't there yet. Stop running. Take that embarrassingly small step today. Thank you so much for joining me, and I'll see you next time.